My name's Ryan and I'm in recovery. I've had quite a lot of messages the last few days or comments and people being like, oh my God, you look so sad. Are you always like that? So I thought I'd share a story that's a bit lighter, not the usual kind of heaviness. It's kind of more of a funny story from when I was running a club in London and working with DJs. We basically booked this really famous DJ who's still touring and selling out venues all over the world now, and he was one of my favourite DJs at the time, so I was really excited to have him come and play the club. And the plan was that I was going to host him for the night, kind of take him for dinner, take him down to the venue, get him all set up, look after him for the night if he wants any drinks and things like that. First of all, I took him for dinner, just kind of to like a kind of restaurant diner type place around the corner to the club beforehand, and he just sat on his phone and played games, didn't really talk to me, so it was a pretty awkward dinner. Like I say, bear in mind he was like one of my favourite DJs at the time, so I was quite excited to kind of chat to him, pick his brains, blah blah blah, but he just wasn't really taking me on. He was playing some like World of Warcraft type game on his phone and just didn't really speak to me. We kind of sat through dinner. Anyway, took him to the club, he sound checked, all that stuff, and then he kind of went into the green room, carried on playing his little World of Warcraft game. And then he said to me, oh, I just wanted to check that you saw my drinks rider and you got the non-alcoholic beer that I wanted. And the way it works for people that don't know is when artists perform, they can ask for a rider, which is basically just like food and drinks and things like that they want set up in the green room for when they play. This club that I ran in particular, we wouldn't generally, for DJs, we wouldn't necessarily go out our way to provide things for specific riders. It would more be just that the DJ would arrive and we'd be like, do you want a bottle of Grey Goose? Do you want some champagne? Like, what do you want? But he was like very particular about wanting this beer, this non-alcoholic, like niche beer I'd never heard of. And kind of without thinking, I was just like, yeah, we've got it. And I kind of left, went up to the venue manager and was like, do we have this beer? And he was like, no, I've never even heard of it. So I was like, oh God. So I quickly Googled it and I found a place that sold it, but it was like 45 minutes away by train, but we still had a little while till doors were opening, so I was like, I'm just going to quickly run out and go and get it so that he has them for the show. Like I say, this guy was really famous, sold out the venues, big name DJ, so I wanted to keep him happy. So I kind of went across London, got some of these non-alcoholic beers and came back to the venue, gave him one of the beers, and he literally opened it, took like a sip, and then was like, oh no, do you know what, I don't want this, I want champagne. And I was like, okay, I guess that was a wasted journey, but fine. And then he was like, but don't bring me the bottle, just bring me a glass of champagne. So I was like, okay, fine. So and he wanted Laurent Perrier as well. So no, pretty fancy champagne, or Dom Perignon, I can't remember. I'm not really too familiar with my fancy champagnes, but yeah, we opened the bottle. But obviously, once you've opened a bottle of champagne, you can't close it. You can't put the cork back in. So anyway, I poured him the glass, and I think I had a glass myself, and a couple of his mates, and some of the bar staff had a glass. The bottles. I was just going to sit there and go flat otherwise, and he said he just wanted this one glass. So I was like, okay, cool. Poured it for him. He literally drank it in about 5 minutes and was like, can I have another one? And I was like, oh shit, the bottle's kind of already been dished out, so I'm going to open another bottle. I opened another bottle of really expensive champagne. Again, he was like, don't bring the bottle over, just give me a glass. So I was like, fine. This time I didn't make the mistake of dishing out the rest of the bottle. I kind of kept it behind the bar thinking he might end up wanting some more. He then proceeded to drink that entire bottle in about 20 minutes, and I was like, okay. And this kind of routine repeated for a few more bottles where he was like, just a glass, not a bottle. Then he would take the bottle and he would drink the bottle. And at this point, I'm like, okay, maybe this guy's got a bit of a problem with booze, and that's why he wanted a non-alcoholic beer. But, when he's telling me what he wants, I'm not really in a position to tell him no. All of his kind of hangers-on by this point are there, and they're all drinking the champagne as well. And we're very quickly clocking up a big bill for an expensive champagne. But again, it's like these famous DJs, they get what they want, really. But there has to be a limit. So when they kept asking, I was like, I don't really know what I'm going to do. So I kind of hatched a plan, and I was like, what I'll do is when he asks for the nice champagne, I'll pour him a glass, but then I'll just bring a bottle of Prosecco over and put it in the ice bucket, and then his mates can just drink the Prosecco. And I won't even acknowledge that it's Prosecco, I'll just do it, and hopefully they won't notice. That kind of works. All of his hanger-on mates were just drinking the Prosecco, and he proceeded to drink the champagne, but he got absolutely wasted. He was doing an all-night long DJ set, so like 6-hour set. And by the end of it, he was smashed. He'd snapped his headphones in half and was kind of just holding one of the ears to the ear pieces to his ear, and was like stumbling around the place. Still did a decent set, like there was a really good vibe, and it was going off. Anyway, the night finished. And he was like, can you take me to the green room toilet? And I was like, yeah. I mean, obviously, but he knew where it was, but I was like, yeah, fine. You know, sometimes these DJs kind of just want you to hold their hand. So I led him into the green room and was like, there's a toilet at the back of the room, the green room. And he was like, okay, cool, can you wait for me here? I was like, fine. So yeah, I sat up, kind of waited for him to come out of the toilet. He came out of the toilet and he was like, oh, have you got any gear? I was like, yeah, I have. Gave him a line. We did a line together. And then as we're sitting there, he was giving me kind of weird vibes all night. But at this point, he was, you know, kind of sloppy drunk. He just like nozzles his head into my, like, into here, and like kind of nozzles into me like that. And I was like, oh. And then I suddenly realised, I was like, wait, I think this guy's going to hit on me. I'm not gay, I'm straight, I've got a girlfriend. But, you know, it's a weird feeling when this really famous person kind of hits on you. I'm like, I don't really know what to do. So I text another guy that I work with and was like, this famous DJ that's playing tonight is hitting on me. And as anyone knows that works in clubland and deals with DJs, your priority to a point is always to kind of keep these DJs happy. So he kind of, my friend I worked with jokingly replied and was like, just take one for the team so that he comes back and plays again next year or whatever. Anyway, so I'm kind of doing this balancing act of trying to keep him sweet and not offending him, but also being pretty creeped out. He was like just touching me and putting his hands, not like just kind of like just hanging himself off me basically and making me feel really uncomfortable. Also, by this point, there was a bit of a lock-in happening, so I was like, why don't we go and kind of join everyone else for the lock-in? There's drinks there and stuff like that. And he was like, no, I want to stay in here with you. Can you send another bottle of champagne to this room? And I was like, oh God, how am I going to get out of this? Yeah, anyway, I managed to end up kind of convincing him to get out of the room, and he just spent the rest of the time, like we had a few more hours of a lock-in, and he was just following me around, being really creepy and weird the whole night, pouncing drugs off me the whole night as well, which is fine, but yeah, it was just a total weirdo basically, and ironically, I've kind of never been into him as a DJ since then.